Hi there, could we do the short date and learning objective, please? Short date and learning objective. Pause the video and then we'll get started. When you're done, press play when you're done. Right, okay, so we're going back a little bit because we sort of missed certain parts of the work. But we're going back, so we should be, a lot of today's work will be revision, but we'll take it on a little bit further as well. So, for example, if you are given the question, okay, sorry, if you're given the question, find two-thirds of 64. Find two-thirds of 64. Now remember what you're doing then. First of all, you find 1/3. This is how we do it, isn't it? If you want to find two-thirds, we want 1/3 of 64. And we do that, then you say how many 3's are in 64. So it becomes, it doesn't go in that, does it? That's a good start, Kerry. Right. So 2/3, let's do 2/3 of 60. Sorry. Let's do 2/3 of 60. Okay. So you do 1/3 of 60. Okay, so that it becomes 60 divided by 3, which is 20, isn't it? So 1/3. How many 3's go into 60? 20. Okay, so therefore 1/3 is 20, so 2/3 will be 40, isn't it? You multiply it by the whatever the numerator is. Okay, right. What about this one? 3/4. This is the one I meant to do. 3/4 of 64. So again, we found 1/4 first of all of 64. So how many 4's are in 64? So we do 64 divided by 4. Okay, gives you 20. Goodness me. 16 gives you 16. Okay. So if 1/4 is 16, we times that by the 3, which will give us 48. Okay, so 1/4 is 16, so we times it by the numerator, yeah, and we get 48. Okay, and we can get 2/4 equals 32, 3/4 48, and then 4/4, the whole thing, 64. So you can see the pattern there. I'm sure you'll have done this before and probably find it pretty straightforward. Okay, right, just one more practice one. Let's do 4/9 of 144. Okay, 4/9 of 144. So again, underneath we have to find 1/9 of 144. So therefore that becomes 144. I hope this one goes in. I think it does. Divided by 9. How many 9's in 1? None. How many 9's in 14? 1. Carry the 5. How many 9's in 54? 6. Okay. So 1/4 is 16 again. Okay. Oh, there we are. And then we have to do that 16 times 4. Okay, 16, 32, 48, 64. Okay, 64. So finding a fraction of a number. Finding a fraction of a number. If you're not too sure, you can watch this again, but I'm sure we have done these. You'll have done these before and had not too much difficulty. Can you have a go at those, please? So first of all, remember, find 1/7 first. How many 7's in 35, then times it by the numerator. Right at the question, please. Right at the question. And when you finish those, pause the video while you're doing those. When you finish, press play again. Okay. Right, I'm not going to spend too long on these. So let's have a look. 1/7 is 5. So this will be 15. That'll be 9 times 4, 9, 18, 27, 36. This will be 16. Another one was 16. I like that, don't I? 16, is that 16, 32, 48, I think. I'm just doing these quickly. Right, I'll need to do calculations for this last one. So 1/12. So that would be 384 divided by 12. 12, 24, 36. 3 remainder 2. So that's 32. So 1/12 is 32. So then I do the 32. I'm timesing it by the 7. Okay, 14. 4 carry the 121 and 122. Hopefully that's correct. I have been known to make a few mistakes, haven't I? Okay. Right. Okay. So that's the first sect part's done. Okay. Now, so we can do that. So if you say, for example, you are given the question. Say, for example, you're given the question, what is 2/3 times 60? What is 2/3 times 60? Now, I'd like to have a think. How would you go about doing that? Okay, so let's just do it. I think we'll just do it the kind of the way we've been taught how to do these multiplying fractions. Because what we can do it this way. First of all, we can do 2/3 times 60. Now, if I want to turn 60 into a fraction, all I have to do is to put 60 over 1. Okay, and then we can, and from there, we can work it out, can't we? Okay, and actually I can do some bit of cross simplifying here, because 1 goes into that, 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 60 20 times. So our answer 2 times 20 is 40. Okay, 1 times 1 is 1. 40 over 1, which gives me 40 as my answer, isn't it? So the answer is 40. Now, if I asked you the same question, what is 2/3 of 60? Okay, then actually that is the same question, isn't it? Because you'd find 1/3, which would be 20, and 2/3, which would be 40. So when you're multiplying, okay, so 2/3 of 60, the questions we were just doing, we can, if we want to, do them in the sort of way we've been taught how to multiply fractions, by turning the whole number into a fraction. Okay, and it can make it easier for certain sort of questions. So say, for example, we had 4 times 3/8. Now, if you were asked what is 3/8 of 4, okay, it gets a bit tricky, isn't it? Because to find 1/8 of 4, how many, it becomes a little bit trickier. So all we have to do is just to put the 4 over 1 times 3 over 8. Okay, because 4 is 4 over 1, isn't it? Okay, we're just putting that into a fraction. How many 1s in 4? 4. Again, actually, this is another one we can cross simplify just to make it easier. That goes into that then twice. So 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. We've got our improper fraction. Turn that into a mixed number. Okay, how many 2's are in 3? 1, remainder 1. So it becomes 1.5. Okay, 1.5. So it's just a way of kind of looking at these. Okay, so of looking at these a little bit differently. Okay, so when you get to do the finding a fraction of a number. Okay, let's have a little. We'll do one more. Okay, so 7. We'll come to that one after. Okay, right. So let's have a little look at this. I think we did this one earlier. So we did 6 times. It was 6 times 2/3. Let's do this one. Okay, so 6 times 2/3. So again, we're going to just turn that 6 into 6 over 1. Okay, we can cross simplify quite nicely. 2 and 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 over 1, 4. Okay, so 6 times 2/3 equals 4. 2/3 of 6 is 4. Okay. What do you think the answer to this is? Okay, have a work at this one out yourself. 6 divided by 2/3. Okay, 6 divided by 2/3. See if you can work that one out yourself, and then I'll go over it. Okay, just pause the video while you work that out and then press play. Right, so let's have a little look. So again, let's do it the written method where we're just going to put this on 2, turn it into that, isn't it? Turn this 6 into a fraction, 6 over 1, okay? And then we're going to do our KFC, okay? So we'll keep, flip, and change. So from there, okay, again, we can do a bit of cross simplification here, can't we? 2 goes into 6, into itself once, and into 6 3 times. So we get 9, 3 times 3 is 9 over 1. So the answer there is 9, okay? So you can see here, okay, what happens when we multiply a fraction, a whole number by a fraction, it gets smaller. When we divide, okay, when we divide a whole number by a fraction, it gets bigger, okay, it gets bigger. All right, so just something to bear in mind. So when we are dividing, with whole numbers and fractions, so for example, if you've got 7 divided by 4/7, okay, we use the same method, okay. We're going to put that 7 over 1, okay, then over 4/7. So that's our first step. We put it into a fraction. Then we're going to do our KFC. Keep, flip, and change. Okay. So then we do 7. Can't do any cross simplification. 7 7s are 49. Okay. And then 1 times 4 is 4. We've got our improper fraction here. So how many 4s go into 49? Well, 10 4s are 40, 11 4s are 44, 12 4s are 48. So it's 12, remainder 1, 12 and a quarter. So 7 divided by 4/7 is 12 and a quarter. Okay. Right, okay. Okay, good. Have a go at these, please. Have a go. Oh, I'll just do the one. Right, so yeah, I'll let you have a go at the number 9 yourself there. So we'll show you. Have a go at those, please. Okay. Pause the video and then press play when you're done. Right, okay. Let's quickly, let's have a look at this last question. So we want to express as a remainder, okay, as a mixed number, So you've got 2 different ways of doing this, okay, 2 different ways of doing it. I'll just rub that bit out, okay. So express it as a mixed number. So we can just put them into fractions straight away, okay. So I think I would put that 7 over 1 times, and then 1.2 is the same as 1 and 2/10, isn't it? Okay, which in fact is also the same as 2 and 1/5. Okay, so I'm going to change that to 2 and 1/5. So I would just do it from here, multiplying them like that, couldn't I? And then I'd have to put this into, remember when we're multiplying mixed numbers, we have to put them into improper fractions. So it becomes 7 over 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 is 6 over 5. And then so 7 6s are 42. 1 times 5 is 5. How many 5s are in 42? 8, remainder 2, so it becomes 8 and 2/5. Okay, 8 and 2/5. There are other ways of doing it, okay, so that's one way of doing it. Let's have a little look at another way. So let's go with 7. I could just do 7 times 1.2. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of that decimal. I'm going to put it back at the end. So 7 times 12 is 84. Okay, 84, and then I'm going to turn this 84 into a fraction. Okay, so sorry, it's 84, and then I have to, because there's one number after the decimal in the question, the decimal goes there, isn't it? Okay, So we've got 8.4, which I can then turn into 8 and 4/10, which then I can turn into 8 and 2/5. So I just thought I'd sort of threw a question in like that, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. Okay, so hopefully you did okay on that one. Right, let's have, I think we'll move on. Okay, I'll have a little look at those another time. So let's just have a quick look at expressing. So 15 minutes, I want to express that as a fraction of an hour. So that's just going to be 15 over 60. 15 over 60, but I have to simplify it to its lowest form. 15 is the highest common factor of 15 and 60. So it becomes a quarter of an hour, isn't it? Okay. Let's have a look at 40 minutes. What would 40 minutes be as a fraction of an hour? So 40 over 60, because there's 60 minutes in an hour, and then we're going to simplify that. Okay, 20 is the highest common factor. So it goes into that twice, into that 3. You can simplify it differently as well if you want. You could turn it into 4/6 and then 2/3. Okay, but you need to get to your lowest simplified answer. Okay, your simplified answer. Right, let's have a little look at then you can have ones that involve, so that would be 2 hours and 35 minutes. Okay, so turning this into a mixed number, so we've got the 2, and this is the tricky bit, isn't it? We put the 35 over the 60. Now we know what goes into both. We know 5 does, so 5 goes then into that 7 times 12. So I would convert that into, so that would equal 2 and 7/12. Can I simplify the 7/12 any further? The answer is no. Okay, and then one more. 4 hours and 24 minutes. Okay, so again the 4 is going to stay the same, and I'll just put 24 over 60. What's the highest common factor of 24 and 60? There are quite a lot of common factors, but the highest one would be 12, isn't it? 12 goes into 24 and 60, so I'm going to divide them both by 12. I'm simplifying, so that becomes 2 over 5. Can you see that? So if I got 24 over 60, if I wanted to do it different way, I could do 12 over 30, I could do 6 over 15, and then 3 is a factor of both of these, 2 over 5, isn't it? So the answer to that one would be 4 and 2/5. You're putting it into a fraction with the lowest in its simplest form. Okay, right. Have a go at these. Okay, when you have finished these, okay, then you will go on to your then you can go on to your onto the work set on the portal. Okay, go to the work set on the portal. All right, good luck with that, everyone. Bye.